Welcome. You've got mail.
It's the Millennial Midlife Crisis Podcast with Justin and Sean. Take it away, guys.
Alrighty, everybody, what's up? We're back, in case you forgot who we are. Hi, I'm Justin or Sean. This is episode 17 of the Millennial Midlife Crisis Podcast. I did look, we did do a show a year ago today. It popped up on my Facebook memories, Sean. So we're awesome. A year in, only 17 episodes in. But the reason we've had a layoff since August 1st, I think, was our last episode. So we got a lot of catching up to do. This will be our Christmas Extravaganza episode. I think we did one of these last year too, sometime in December, but we got some clips from classic Christmas movies, commercials of toys maybe we got as a kid. SNL Christmas has been a big thing for me growing up. That was something I always enjoyed. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But so where have we been? I actually got a new job back in... Sean, when did I get a new job?
When you told me you did?
September? October? Maybe it was October.
I would think...
I started in October. But I was interviewing with them from like September on. So, after 15 years, no longer in education, I work now for an ed tech company. I get to work from home. I get to train teachers how to use cool stuff online, and I get to travel a little bit. So I'm going to New Orleans next week. So I'm a little excited about that.
That's awesome.
Sean, it's going good. I really enjoy working from home. It's really nice.
Especially on the crappy weather days, and you haven't even seen anything yet. I mean,
no. Like I literally went like 3 weeks without having to get gas in my car.
That's my wife is the same way. She can go easily a month. Actually, I had to buy a battery tender for her car because just to keep it running. So that might be something you may have to look into too, my friend.
I think I will. I mean, like realistically, right now, the only major driving I do is like the 10 minutes to drop the kids off at daycare, so I can come back home and get to work and stuff on a variety of things. But yeah, so that's what I've been up to. Sean, anything new and exciting since we last did the show in August? I know we have talked multiple times since then, seen each other at multiple gatherings. But what's new since August for the tens of fans?
I went on it. Speaking of trips, my lovely wife and I, we did the Niagara Falls thing.
Nice.
So we did that in September. So that was and it was already starting to get cold there. The first night we got there, it was 50 degrees. And we weren't accustomed to that by any means. So I literally put on almost every shirt I brought. And I'm not kidding. I wish I was kidding. I'm not kidding. I brought like one long sleeve shirt, and I put like 2 t-shirts on the long sleeve shirt, and I was still kind of like walking around like this a little bit. And then of course had to go to the tour shop, and I now have a Niagara Falls sweatshirt because I needed one.
Well, you can commemorate. What better way to commemorate your trip by not freezing?
No, it was fine though. I mean, it was just a little, and then it's always misty and wet there, so of course that brings the temp down. But on the way home, we stopped in a couple places in Michigan for those history buffs. We went to the Henry Ford Museum. I highly recommend it.
Very cool.
We did the Gilmore Car Museum. If you're a car person, it's fantastic. It's the guy who worked there told us it's the largest car museum in the United States and like second in the world.
Wow.
Yeah, because they have it broken up by building. So if you want to see all the Cadillacs are in a separate building. And what's cool about the separate buildings are they make them look like vintage dealerships. So the Cadillac dealership, yes, the Cadillac dealership looks like it's selling cars in like the late 40s, early 50s.
Okay.
It's very like Art Deco and stuff on the outside. It's very cool. The Lincoln one looks like it's selling cars in like the 30s or 40s. It's and so on and so forth. So it's a really neat place, and they always have things changing. when we were there, they were celebrating the 60th or 65th anniversary of the Mustang. So the lobby was nothing but Mustangs.
Oh wow.
Through varying years, and racing ones and not racing ones, and yeah, it was fantastic.
Very, very cool. Well, one thing I do want to share, if we have some folks hop in, I know usually a lot of people jump in to talk with us. StreamYard changed some of their payment stuff, and it costs a lot more money. So we're back on the free version. So if you do want to chat with us this time around, you'll have to click the YouTube link in our Facebook pages, hop on there, and you'll be good to go. If you have a YouTube account or a Google account, you should be fine. You might even be able to chat in there without anything. I honestly don't know. It's been a while since I've used YouTube chat for anything, but otherwise you'll be able to listen to the show, whenever you want in perpetuity once I get this thing uploaded to the hosting site later tonight or tomorrow morning. But I'd say without further ado, Sean, we should probably jump into some Christmas stuff. What do you say?
Let's do it. I mean, it's sort of kind of snowed today.
Yeah, it flurried. It's getting very, very cold out. It's very, very windy. It's a mess out there right now. I think the wind chill is supposed to be like close to 0 tonight, or around like 1 a.m. or something like that.
Good times.
So I guess I will leave it up to you. Where do you want to start? You want to start with movies? You want to start with gifts you got as a kid? You want to start with just Christmas TV shows or Christmas SNL skits? Or I'm going to throw it to you.
We get. You know what? You seem to be all fired up on the SNL stuff. So I mean, I think that's a great jumping off point for now.
All right, I think that is great. I think, I got into SNL. We probably got into SNL around the same time, but like Will Ferrell, 96, 97 ish. Norm Macdonald. Who else would have been on there?
End of the Sandler years, end of the Farley
End of the
years.
Sandler years. Yeah, it was kind of transitional. Tim Meadows was there, Chris Kattan,
yep,
Molly Shannon, Sherry O'Terry,
Anna Gasteyer.
And then, I remember as a kid on Comedy Central, the earlier 90s and late 80s were on, and I really had an appreciation for that. But when I think Christmas and I think SNL, Sean, this is what I think. Let's see if you know what I'm going to play.
Please welcome the owner of Season's Eatings, Pete Schweddy. Welcome, Pete.
We like the name of your store.
I lost my mind as a 10-year-old.
Now, did I pronounce your name correctly?
You sure did. Pete Schweddy.
Well, Pete, Terry and I have been looking forward to having you on the show because we know you're the master of all kinds of Christmas goodies.
Alec Baldwin looked really young in this, too.
Well, there are lots of great treats this time of year. Zucchini,
I mean,
bread,
I hate to say it, but what year is it from? Like, it's probably older than you think it is.
Let's see. Trying to find it. Season 24, 1998.
Wow.
I was going to say, because it's our 50th this season.
So I still remember watching that one. I want to say I was like, maybe we were visiting my grandparents on my mom's side, and they were the ones.
That's a good place to be for this one.
They were the ones that, like, my grandparents and my aunt in particular, on my mom's sister. She's the one that kind of introduced us to SNL. And I remember anytime we were over there on a Saturday night visiting for like a family get together or whatever, like we always put that on, even though like came on at 10:30, like I was 10 years old, like, and then I would always stay up and watch it when we'd be at home on those days too. That one though, like, I don't know if it was just me because I was a kid. I could not stop laughing at that skit. That's like a Christmas classic for me.
My dad, I distinctly remember. I don't remember. It must have been a year or two after it came out, but you know how they would like probably around this time, NBC will do like a montage of all the Christmas,
and it's always like the last thing.
I remember one time, I don't know what I was doing. I was doing something, and my dad was screaming, "It's on! It's on! Come see! It's the best!" And we all came running in, and it was the Pete Schweddy Balls thing. Like it's just amazing. I was just gonna say, from a comic perspective, how they didn't break. How
no,
I don't laugh?
I don't know how. And I mean, there was a couple times where they looked close, but like they always reined it in.
And how they stayed in character of like the NPR, like the kind of monotone, like the kind of whisper into the camera or microphone,
into the microphone,
sort of. Yeah. I mean,
no, I'm not quite sure how they managed to get through that. So yeah, and that would have been. It says December 12th, 1998. Alec Baldwin was hosting. So that would have been next week, a week from today. That will be 26 years from today, from a week from today, or a week from tomorrow. I do got one more. This one's a little more obscure. This was an opener. And I know when you think Adam Sandler, you think the Hanukkah song, which is very good. And I know there's been a variety of versions. I still think the first one's probably the best just because it was new at that point. But I love his Santa Claus song. Have you ever heard his Santa Claus song?
I probably have, but I'll give it a go again.
All right. Well, here we go, Sean. This might not be the whole thing. I think I clipped a little bit of it to make it shorter, but here we go.
No problem.
Well, it's the holiday season, and Santa's checking his list to see who is naughty or nice, and I'm kind of feeling guilty, so I wrote a song.
And in the video, he's literally just standing in front of the band playing this.
That's
so little time.
And we don't have to listen to the whole thing. But
Santa won't be coming by my house this year, 'cause I tried to drown my sister and I pierced my ear. Oh, Mama made it perfectly clear, Santa don't like bad boys, especially Jewish ones.
Had to add that part.
Yes. All right, so
so why'd I have to set the pizza guy's hair on fire? I told him I was sorry, I'm a liar, so no toys for me.
All right, so he goes on to talk about making death threats to Vice President Gore. This would have been Clinton's first term. He talks about selling weed to a pizza guy. Again, it's silly. I don't know why. I have a soft spot for that one, but those were two that came up. There's also the I think it was Horatio Sands, Jimmy Fallon, Chris Kattan, and Tracy Morgan. The I Wish It Was Christmas Today.
Yes.
Which
season's greetings.
You can't go wrong. I think they probably did it like 6 or 7 times over the course of the last probably 20 years. It is a song they made up on their own, and it's just them playing it. Chris Kattan is holding a keyboard, and Tracy Morgan is standing next to him dancing, and that's
just kind of bouncing, yeah.
Yeah, and then it just ends, and it goes off. So, I don't know. Are there any in particular that you think of when you think back to like classic SNL stuff?
I have a few. I was kind of making notes as I was thinking of it. Well, kind of, I don't know if this is chronological, but it's close. When Dan Aykroyd, that'll tell you how old it is, when he is what's the word I'm looking for? He's like the CEO of the toy company, but it's always like Dangerous Toys.
Dangerous Toys, yeah.
Yeah, it's always like Bag of Glass and Johnny Switchblade and stuff. There's a Christmas one and there's a Halloween one. Those are both fantastic. I highly recommend those.
I agree.
Eddie Murphy, when he would do Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood.
Oh, yes.
And the Christmas one of that has fantastic lines in it. Like the Cabbage Patch doll, he holds it up and it's a Cabbage Patch doll with no head, and it's literally like a head of lettuce.
Yes.
And then he's teaching all the boys and girls about different Christmassy words. And at the end of the sketch, somebody's banging on the door, and he's like, "Did you sell my kid a doll with a piece of lettuce on it?" And he goes, "That reminds me of another X word, escape." And then he climbs out the window, and it's good. That's one of my favorite ones. One of the newer was the song that the girls did about bringing your boyfriend home.
Yes,
that was really well done with Jimmy Fallon and all that.
Mm-hmm.
That was like Adie Bryant took the lead on that. Cecily Strong.
Yeah,
there was a lot of it had their baby pictures. I mean that was just good.
That was a classic, I'd say.
Mm-hmm. That was an instant classic. I think as soon as I saw it, I was like, "This is." I remember that Christmas. I pulled it up on YouTube and I showed anyone that would like listen to me like at a Christmas party because I was like, this is hilarious.
Yeah.
The girl, speaking of strong female comedians, when Tina Fey, Amy Poehler, and all them, they did Santa's My Boyfriend, Maya Rudolph.
Yes.
It's not like laugh out loud belly laugh, but it's like a cute Christmassy.
Yeah.
You know, it's cool. It's all right. I don't mind.
No, I agree. I agree with you on that. Yeah, I think, and I think that's like an opener, or maybe it's the opener for like the Christmas special.
Yeah,
I feel like it's been on there for a while. Yeah.
So yeah, those are some of the ones that instantly come to mind for me that I enjoy, and I will Google from time to time, Christmas or not.
Yeah, I'd say that's a good call.
Yeah, I'm
what
trying to think
what
if there's
about
any other ones?
I feel
No, go
like
ahead,
there's
I'm
been
sorry.
a lot of good recent like SNL commercials. They did one like with the was it Lexus's season of, I can't remember what it was, but it's the premise is that the dad buys a
Yes.
Lexus, but he's broke,
Yes.
has no money. The mom's cheating on him with the neighbor.
It's a parody of the Lexus December to Remember commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
You
and I
bought a
love
car?
Well, it was only $39.99 down, and the APR was zero. The APR? You mean the APR? Or I think at one point he's like, well, yeah, your dad, he's talking to us, and he's like, yeah, your dad had, COVID's been hard on all of us, and your dad's got let go, and the wife is like, you got fired before COVID even started. Don't even use that as an excuse.
Yeah, all the family drama comes out. Yeah, that is a good one. I'm just trying to quickly look. Here's a good one too. Though one of my other favorite ones that I really like is the when you do like a montage of either an audition or like a singing one, and the one with Michael Bublé, who would do the duets on his Christmas album.
Yes.
That's a good one. Another one that I just thought of too is I think it's You're a Rat Bastard, Charlie Brown.
Yes, with is Martin Short plays Larry David, I think, or something like that. His line is maybe.
Yeah, and Michael Keaton is
Schroeder. Is he Schroeder?
Yeah, but I'm trying to think of who plays him. It's not. But yeah, he's like, you want to get nuts? It's like from Batman,
Yeah.
It's Al Pacino, and that's what it is. I think it's Al Pacino as Charlie Brown, and then it's Edie Falco as Lucy, and he's like, you know what, Charlie Brown, and she's got the old,
she's got the real like New York, New Jersey accent.
Yes. Oh, that's really funny.
That is a good
actually,
one.
I may go watch that after this because that is that is fantastic.
There's a really good one when Eddie Murphy came back like 5 years ago, and it's like him and Maya Rudolph talking about how happy they are that everyone's back for Christmas, but then it cuts to like just the tension and like all the horrible stuff that goes along with trying to celebrate the holidays with your family and things not going right, but like they're glossing over that. So that's a good one too. But do you want to get into some of the stuff that you got for Christmas?
Certainly.
All right. Well, go ahead. Give me something. What was something that like stands out in your head from when you were a kid on Christmas morning? You wake up, you run downstairs. It's probably like 5:30 in the morning because there's no sense of time when it's Christmas morning as a kid.
Yeah, no. Gosh. One that stands. I mean, I was like borderline spoiled some years. Now,
yeah, I know that feeling.
As a little caveat here, for those of you who don't know, my birthday is Christmas Day. So
yes.
When I say I got X, and so like a lot of times, I'd be like, oh, I got PlayStation or something. Someone's like, holy shit, like wow, and it's like, well, it's my birthday too. So summers are boring around my house, and this is our time to do our thing. I know PlayStation 2, the year we got the PlayStation 2 was big.
One. That's a big
that
one.
was big. I mean, I got, like I said, I mean, I got bikes. I had a cool Ninja Turtles bike when I was a wee lad.
I might have had that same one.
It was black with green splatter, like literally splatter, like, and I think the wheels were green.
You know what? No, I take that back. I don't think I had a Ninja Turtle bike. I think I got like all the stuff from, was it like Burger King or McDonald's? One time the Happy Meal version was all a bunch of Ninja Turtle stuff for your bike. Like there was a turtle horn, a turtle license plate.
I remember that.
Maybe
yeah.
Spokes. So maybe I just threw all that stuff on my bike and then it was a Ninja Turtle bike. But
I know one year I was super excited for and I think we've talked about it on a podcast before, the turtles that you would pull the string through and they would talk.
That was awesome.
I had those and I just remember how disappointed I was at the fact that I could barely get them to speak properly because you had to pull them at the right tension, at the right speed. It was this whole, and I was, how old were we then? Probably 7, 8, whatever.
Yeah, right.
So on
around
the commercial, it's like cowabunga, dude. It's perfect.
Oh, it's clear as day. Yeah.
And here I am, and it's like, blah, 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 and I would be like, and I remember it was kind of hard to put the plastic thing inside it. And
yeah, because it was very thin. It was like almost like a spaghetti, like a piece of spaghetti pasta.
With it was almost like little bumps on it. Yeah. It was almost like braille sort of that you would pull through. Yeah.
And I remember the shell they had was bigger because it had to fit.
The whole,
it was like a sewer or manhole cover.
Yeah, and I don't think they stood up because they were like top heavy. And
top heavy, yeah.
Flip back, yeah.
I think you're spot on. Well, okay, so here's one. I remember seeing this commercial all the time around Christmas. I was not a huge, when I was real little, I had a lot of Matchbox cars, but I saw this commercial and I immediately thought of you because I know, you're the car guy in the group. But I don't know if you had this because this would have been, we would have been maybe like 5 or 6. It was a little bit earlier, but this is a commercial. I remember the jingle, so I'm going to play this and see if you remember this.
Yeah.
It's the van to Super Van City. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can get into town. Super Van City.
Do you remember this?
I had it.
I thought so.
I had it. I didn't have. I had like the second version though. I didn't have the original one. But I did have Super Van City.
Okay, yeah. I had a feeling when I saw that, and I remember
yeah.
I thought that was really cool that thing folded up and then folded back down. Cool. You could play with it,
Yeah. And I did. I played with it in both versions.
I know. I was kind of surprised. We were at my in-laws and they had like little, I don't think they were actual Matchbox cars, and they definitely weren't Hot Wheels. I don't know what they were, but it was like a parking garage. And Mason, who's only one, like he was mesmerized by just putting the car, having it go down the parking garage, picking it back up and putting it back up there. So, yeah, I go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'll tell you a cool toy that I did not stop playing with.
Okay.
I had and it was probably about the same time that I got the Super Van City. I had a Bigfoot monster truck. It was probably about this big. It was probably like 1/24th scale, if you're familiar with like die-cast cars and all that.
Yeah, yeah.
Or model cars. And, okay, so it's a Bigfoot. It was cool. It had the big wheels, blah, 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 blah. What made it cooler was it had pieces of tinfoil that had cars, and you would put them into this thing that was kind of like a butter dish.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was a plastic thing. It was a mold essentially, but it was like a big plastic thing. And you put the tinfoil on it, you put the top on it, and then it would form a car. And there was like 3 of them. And then you would line them up, and then the Bigfoot would crush them. But because it was tinfoil, you could keep doing it.
Oh, wow. Okay. No, I don't think I ever saw that.
Justin, that occupied me for literal years. I always loved my Bigfoot.
Oh, was it the Bigfoot Champion Crunch Arena?
Maybe. To the Google.
I'm looking on YouTube right now, and if this is, I see like tinfoil cars and then like a little setup of like a little, like monster truck arena. Yeah, I think this has got to be it. And it was like a molding. Yeah,
Yes.
1991.
Yes.
1991.
Yes.
See,
I
was
had
really...
this. I missed this. I want this again.
Well, for the low price
play
of
with it again.
I did like monster trucks when I was a kid. I know I had the Bigfoot like Power Wheel, whatever that, or Power Wheels or Big Wheels, whatever the thing you could drive as a kid. Mine was, I had a Bigfoot one, but yeah, I now that I'm seeing those little tinfoil cars like you mentioned, I'm starting to remember that a little bit.
Is that
I know
not
I
the
didn't
coolest
have
thing
it.
in the world?
That
like,
is
whoever thought of that.
It's reusable.
And they would crunch, like they would literally.
Yeah, which is what that's all about, right? So,
oh my god, this is
glad
fantastic.
I'm glad we were able to bring that back. I do have one. This is something I still remember. I think I got this for Christmas 95 maybe. And I loved, I don't know. We were a big board game family when we were kids, and we got a lot of board games for Christmas, especially for the winter times. I loved this game. So let's see if you, and the commercial was really cool.
Man your battle stations. Man your battle stations.
It's
Hell
a talking
yeah!
battleship from Milton Bradley. So real, it really talks.
Battleship armed. Battleship armed.
We're talking instant programming, free skill levels, and only Milton Bradley's got them.
Carrier hit. Carrier hit.
Against the computer or opponent, your mission, sink the enemy's fleet.
Battleship sunk. Battleship sunk.
Yeah, now you're talking.
Loved this thing.
Electronic talking battleship and original battleship, only from Milton Bradley.
I don't remember you being able to play the computer. I didn't know that.
No, I was gonna say
had it. I had it too.
I don't remember ever playing the computer. I remember like having to play my mom or dad because my sister was, she was probably younger. She was probably like kindergarten, first grade. She didn't want anything to do with that. But yeah,
the hardest
that was fun.
Programming them. Do you remember that?
Yes, because it came with a booklet, and then you couldn't just randomly assign where you wanted your stuff, like the non-electronic version.
Right.
You had to literally. I remember the booklet was probably like 30 or 40 pages of just different variations of where everything could go.
I remember I got it. Actually, my mom might still have it in her basement. It would not surprise me. And the other thing I remember was it took a ton of batteries.
Yes, it did.
It was I think it was like 4 or 5 like D batteries or something.
Yeah.
It was some crazy.
Yes.
Because my dad and I used to play it a lot. And I remember, it was cool as hell. Like, it was probably expensive back in the day too, you know?
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, like that. I remember that being a pretty big deal. And I know we have quite a few people in the chat or watching now. So if you are on YouTube, feel free to log into YouTube, or I think with your Gmail or whatever YouTube account you have, you can go ahead and chat in there if you like. But yeah, I remember playing that a lot. Never played against the computer though, so I don't remember. I must have missed that one.
I kind of want to see if I can dig it back out and like get it fired up and see if I can.
I wonder. I think my parents might still have this at their house. I don't know if it made them move to Wisconsin, but I know when they still lived in Illinois, I remember we had our closet under the stairs where all our kid board games were, and that was still there. I'm sure the batteries were all corroded over, but it was definitely still in possession. I do have one that's not. Well, actually, you know what? Let's play this while we're on the talk of board games. This is just a classic in general. I never had this game, but the commercial's amazing.
It's sometime in the future. The ultimate challenge. Crossfire.
The commercial for this was amazing. Like 2 kids on like.
It still is.
It still is, like on a platform with lava and fire, and they're just shooting little metal BBs back at each other.
And the kid's got a leather jacket, so you know he's a bad guy.
He's totally a punk, right? Like, that I honestly don't think I had a single friend that had that game. I've never seen that thing in action.
Well, we should have been friends because.
I mean, was it hard to shoot the little spinners with the BBs or no?
Okay, so there's 2 things that come to mind when I think of this game. One, it was very loud.
Was it really? Okay.
Yeah, because it was like ding, 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 and then even the guns were like pop, 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 pop. 2, the guns would jam constantly.
Really? Okay. I would not
So
have thought that.
Maybe it was the way we were just like putting the beads in or whatever, but you would throw them in there and you would throw them in there, and yeah, I don't know. It would jam because I remember playing it with my friends, and when it would jam at first, you would just kind of shake the gun left to right, but eventually it turned into picking it up, which of course picks up the board, which then of course starts moving the pieces. So you could kind of borderline cheat.
Yeah.
Just
kind of like a hungry hippo kind of thing, right? Like
yeah.
Far off.
Yeah. Kind of the opposite, actually. I mean, whatever. Yeah. But
yeah.
No, it was a cool game. It was all right.
That was one I totally missed out on. I don't know. I can't really. I mean, there was tons of amazing gifts that I didn't pull commercials for, but like I remember the year I got a Sega Genesis.
Yeah,
that was like Christmas of '92. I got Sonic, and that blew my mind.
Yeah, we never had it. My cousins had it. So
okay. Yeah, that was a big step up from the old Nintendo that was my parents that I had.
Another board game that I really, really wanted, and I got it, but there's like a little caveat to it, was 13 Dead End Drive.
Oh, yes. I do remember that one.
So the commercials, again, fantastic. Like, made it look so cool, and it kind of looked like Mousetrap and, different things were... Because, board games are cool, but, it's 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. Like, these had action. Things moved, things whatever. So I got it, and I was way too young for it, and I think my dad, somebody tried to like put it together with me, and we never once played it because we were like, this is too complicated. This is stupid. We never played it once.
That's how we were with Mousetrap. We had Mousetrap. We never played it the right way. I think eventually I just started using all of it as like stuff for my action figures when I would play with my G.I. Joes and Turtles and stuff, like holding people in the cage or whatever, that, the trap or whatever. But yeah, I Splat. You remember Splat? That like the games with Play-Doh involved. That was a big deal for us too. Like I think it was Go Go Grape and Splat. And
they ring a bell, but I don't remember them.
Splat was like you were a mosquito or a bug, and you were like a little potato thief. And if you landed on the wrong spot, I think like you had like a thing that would just literally smush your bug or something like that.
I don't know what made me think of this when you said that, but do you remember? I think it was a game called Tornado Alley.
Yes, I do.
Where it was like a mountain. It was like a plastic mountain, and that like you could climb up the mountain, and then you had to like click the thing so many times, and then the thing would like spin down. I remember that was a cool game. My friend had that. We used to play that a lot. It was like a top that would like come down.
Yeah, that another one. I do remember that one. Another one. Speaking of like a thing where you had to click was. Do you remember Don't Wake Daddy?
Oh hell yeah! My grandma had it.
We played so much of that game. Yeah.
Oh. What was the one with the different shapes? But it was kind of like Operation and Don't Wake Daddy.
Oh, Perfection.
Yes, my grandma had Perfection. We used to play the hell out of that.
I'm glad you brought that up.
The pieces into the slot, make the right selection, but be quick, you're racing the clock. Goes Perfection. You race to fit the shapes into the slots, but you better be quick. Will pop. This piece here and that piece there.
Talk about creating a generation with anxiety disorders. This board game. Oddly enough, didn't have this game.
No, my grandma had it. Do you remember? Speaking of, it seems like all the '90s commercials had like great theme songs.
Oh, they were jams. Yeah,
I remember my brother and I used to play Mr. Bucket. Remember Mr. Bucket?
Oh,
because that had a banger too.
Mr. Bucket, you're the one.
Something like that.
Yeah, that was a good one. I do have before we move on, I do have 2 commercials that aren't actually related to toys, but I know one of them for sure you're going to remember. So let's see if you remember this one. Here we go. This was a classic. I was going to say I don't see this commercial anymore, but I guess that makes sense. It's going on like 25 years, so it's probably not going to show up anymore. Here we go.
Yep.
So this Campbell's soup,
Yep.
tomato, chicken, noodle, I don't know, but the kids, snowman, he comes inside, he melts. Very bad graphics of the melting snow.
I don't think that's 25 years old. I think that's a lot older.
Is it? And it was just still playing in the 90s?
It looks very old. It looks very like early 80s. Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet
So
you that guy's like your grandpa now.
Oh God, that's depressing. But you're probably not wrong. But I remember that commercial looked old. Okay, and I did look it up. It said Campbell Soup Snowman commercial 1993. That's got to be
no
older.
way. I don't buy that.
That's got to be older. It says it was re-released in 1998, but 93. I'm thinking 80s at least late 80s.
It has to be. Like, look at the kids like bowl cut and stuff. Like, there's no, I don't buy that at all.
But even as somebody who never really had Campbell's soup a lot because I didn't like soup as a kid, that commercial was always like, oh yeah, it's Christmas time if this is showing up. You know, it's coming. There was one more. I never ate this cereal. I wasn't a big cereal kid. I do like cereal now, though, oddly enough. But this was one. I remember this coming up every Christmas. And I'm just like, something's off here.
Season's greetings in our souls. Yummy fruity pebbles in our bowls. Oh, here comes you.
There's something about the Flintstones and Santa.
Dabba dabba fruit, delicious stew. Oh, I'm hungry.
Barney?
My pebbles! Your pebbles! 'Tis the season to be sharing, Fred.
All right. So I never had those. But yeah, like that was weird that they made their own Christmas commercial. The cereal didn't change. It just had Santa on the box. And it still blows my mind
that's
that
marketing.
That like the Flintstones was popular enough to have a cereal into the 90s when the cartoon hadn't been new. I mean, I guess the movies were coming out that they weren't. I don't remember them being very good.
No, they weren't.
I mean, I know that was when Cartoon Network was still just buying old Hanna-Barbera stuff and putting it on because they didn't have their own yet. But yeah, that was a doozy.
Oh,
Gary
in the chat, I
Gary
still have my Bigfoot.
Oh, Sean, you're gonna need to find that and bring it out now.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That's awesome.
That'll go with my Talk Boy and my Jurassic Park toys that I have in my
Oh, Talk Boy.
I have a Talk Boy. That's a great commercial.
Oh, I didn't even think about that pulling that one, but yeah,
my kids were home early.
Stop breathing on me, or stop. I can't. I don't remember what the other line was.
Something like that. Yeah, when the boyfriend girlfriend are getting
close, and he records them yelling at the dog or something like that. So
yeah,
those are all the commercials I have recorded. Any other toys commercials before we move on to maybe movies?
Well, I was thinking about when we were going back to the board games, just games that gave you anxiety. Do you remember Crocodile Dentist?
Oh, yes, I do.
That game gave me anxiety because I remember, like, is this gonna hurt? Like, this it's gonna bite me. Like, this I don't want this. I mean that.
Yeah. It's like how much tension is in these things when it clamps down on me.
Because like Operation Never. I mean, of course, you're like, oh, I want to get it right, and Perfection was like, oh, I want to get it right, but I never like lost sleep over it. But like Crocodile Dentist, I was like, this is gonna hurt. Like I don't want to do this. Like,
yeah, I did come across that commercial. Now that you mention it, and it's literally like it was literally like Crocodile Dundee cartoon character pulling teeth out of a crocodile.
Stereotypes.
Yeah, which I thought was kind of interesting. But yeah, no, that's a good pull. Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't tell you the last time I played a board game. A lot of Cards Against Humanity when that was popular.
I was gonna say, actually, there's a couple. My brother threw a Halloween party, and there's this is so appropriate for us. There's a card game about getting old, and you get and lose points by whether you're like, is that like an old man thing, or is that like a young guy thing? And it's so funny, and it was even funnier because I'm 5 years older than my brother. So there is that little bit of a generation gap where him and all his friends are like, "Oh yeah, we do that," or whatever. And my wife and I are looking at each other like, what does yeet mean? Or like whatever it was. Dude, it was a blast. It was cool. It was cool as hell. So I was like, you know who would appreciate this? And I instantly thought of you and John.
Oh yeah. Without a doubt. Yeah, I feel like we have a bunch of, like, Erica still buys board games when they're on sale, like maybe in hopes that the kids will play them in a few years. But like, you know, a lot of stuff was like, I remember I bought on a whim at Target. They had like an Oregon Trail card game.
I've seen that.
And I bought it, or I asked for it. I think I might have asked for it for Christmas from her, maybe. And I don't think we've ever even opened it. Like now as an adult, like trying to find time, especially when it's just the two of you. It's kind of hard to play a game like that, but
right. No, I get that.
But yeah, no, I
will come to your house and die of dysentery anytime you want.
Thank you. I appreciate that. As long as you bring the Bigfoot thing, that's all I ask.
That's a tough sell, dude. I don't know if I can let that out of my sight.
Well,
I don't think I have the cars anymore. The cars are long gone because I used to play with it so much that I wore them out. Because I think my dad or my parents or something just gave me like legit tinfoil and like drew like little doors and wheels on it because you know how in all seriousness, you know how tinfoil eventually, you know, it just gets thin and it gets crappy.
There's nothing left to it. Yeah. That's too funny. Well,
that was so cool though.
I do want to say, like, you know, talking about playing board games as a kid and then, like, you know, hoping eventually when my kids get older we can play board games and stuff like that. But like, there is one scene now. I loved this scene from this particular Christmas movie. I just thought it was the funniest thing. But now having kids, I find it even funnier. Let me play this for you. Here we go.
You know, this happens. This thing happens. You know, you want to talk about bad parents? Look at us. I mean, we're on the road.
My favorite part of the whole movie.
Yeah, we hardly see our
It is awesome.
You know, Joe over there. Gosh, you know, he forgets his kids' names half the time. Ziggy over there, he's never even met his kid. Eddie.
Hope they don't write a book about him.
Yeah, that's right.
And tell me, have you ever gone on vacation and left your child home?
No, but I did leave one at a funeral parlor once. Yeah, it was terrible too. You know, I was all distraught and everything. You know, the wife and I, we left the little tyke there in the funeral parlor all day. You know, we were back at night when we came to our senses, and there he was. Apparently, he was there alone all day with a corpse. Yeah, he was okay. You know, after 6-7 weeks. And I came around, started talking again. But he's okay. You know, they get over it. Kids are resilient like that.
Maybe we shouldn't talk about this.
Well, you brought it up.
You brought it up.
Trying to cheer you up.
Sorry, I did.
I love that. John Candy, that movie, that scene. We just watched Planes, Trains, and Automobiles last week when my parents were in for Thanksgiving. Another John Candy classic. But yeah, I Gus Polinski and the Kenosha Kickers. There was actually I can't remember what minor league baseball team it was, but for a few games in the summer they rebranded as the Kenosha Kickers. And they had like a polka style logo and theme and all that to go along with it. I don't remember what the significance of it was besides like just, hey, we're in Wisconsin. Was it maybe like the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers? I don't remember which team it was, but it doesn't even matter because that's just like a minor league thing. They all do stuff like that.
But it's still really cool. And, you know, it's just one of those things that when you see it, you're just like, oh, cool. I get it. Like I've seen the t-shirts with like with like Gus Polinski and the Kenosha Kickers on it and all that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's cool. It's yeah.
Gary in the chat says that Sean, your mom says you also have the Ghostbuster ambulance.
I
Still.
knew that. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that
I don't think I had that. I definitely had the turtle van. I remember
I had
that being a big deal. I had
never
the
got the
Technodrome.
never got the firehouse though.
No,
The
no,
Ghostbusters car. Always wanted the
no.
firehouse.
I remember I had like the proton pack, like the actual like stuff you could wear.
I never got any of that, and I always wanted it. I remember the trap, and you could like
Yeah.
yeah. And the wands had like the Nerf thing on the end. Like my friends had them, I just never.
Yeah. So, what about when I don't know, like when you're around this time, you're putting on a movie or it's a Christmas movie, like what is your go-to? What are you looking for? Because are you going more vintage or are you going more recent? Is hard. I feel like there's not like recent to me is 20 years ago, not
Right. No, I hear you.
very recent. But like, what's your go-to if you got nothing to do, or if there's if it shows up on TV on a weekend, you're just gonna sit back and watch it?
Die Hard.
Of course, I didn't pull a Die Hard clip, Sean.
I think
that was our episode last year, right? Was debating whether or not it was a clip or a Christmas movie.
Christmas movie. No, every Christmas I need to watch Die Hard. I need to watch National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, and I need obviously Christmas Story. Oh, I can't believe I forgot. On our way back from New York, we stopped in Ohio and took the tour of the Christmas Story house.
Really? How was it?
It's cool, but it's literally what you see in the movie, and that's it.
So they just kind of tried to keep it as close to that as possible?
They completely, because so when the movie came out, they picked the house,
and
then afterwards the people who live there or whatever completely remodeled the house. You'd never recognize it.
Really?
And then the guy sold the house on eBay like 20 years ago, and the current owner bought it and restored it back to the Christmas Story house.
Okay.
They also own the Bumpus house.
Oh, really?
And the house across the street, because the house across the street is a gift shop.
Oh, is it really?
It's just a house. Like that has no significance to
no
the
value.
movie.
Okay.
Right. But like when you buy the tickets and all that, you have to go across the street. You get you get that there. The Bumpus house is there. You can't go inside the Bumpus house. You can Airbnb it. You can stay in it, but there's no like tour.
So is it literally just like next to that house? It's just like regular people living their day-to-day lives?
I don't think anybody lives there. I think it's strictly like Airbnb.
Okay.
But there's a parking lot between the two houses, and that's it.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well,
yeah,
I'm glad
it's pretty cool though.
I'm glad you brought up Christmas Story. Here's a classic scene.
Oh, there could be anything in there.
Maybe they forgot.
Well, it's in there. It's got to be in there. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Would you look at that? Would you look at that?
Statue.
What is it?
Well, it's a leg.
But what is it?
It's a leg.
Yeah, well, it's a leg, you know, like in a statue.
So yeah, that movie, that's one like I mean, the 24-hour marathon on TBS and TNT as a kid like was such a big deal. And that's not one like I feel like that's not on as much throughout the season. It's just that that major explosion of A Christmas Story for 24 hours.
That's if the clip was just a little longer, we would have gotten into one of my all-time favorite lines of that movie where he's like, "It's a major award."
Can't you tell? Oh, I love that.
I have something that I learned on the tour. It's a fun fact.
Mm-hmm.
When they bring it through the door, it's not Fragile's cut off.
Oh.
And the reason it's cut off is because the prop master did not measure the door, and originally the box did not fit through the door, and they had to make a quick modification on set to squish to cut it and reshape it so it would fit through the front door of the house.
That is fascinating. That's something that like I can picture happening to me. just in general, not measuring.
Well, but it's one of those things where it's just like, oh, it's got to stay fragile and it's got to hold the leg and it's got to do this. And then somebody brought it to set or whatever and went, thump.
Nope. That's not going to work.
But if I do recommend it, if you're ever in the Cleveland area, because you do get to, they have all the props like from the movie. There's a picture of me. If you're friends with me on Facebook, you can go through my pictures. I hold the can of Simon Eyes. I mean, like, they have it down.
Wow.
They have the plug that's got 16 plugs.
16 different plugs into it.
Name something from the movie. It's there. They have the phone, and if you pick it up, you can hear Schwartz's mom having a heart attack. It's awesome.
I still, going back to the lamp, I just love you used up all the glue. Such a good.
Who did it on purpose? He buried it that night, and I'm pretty sure I heard taps playing in the background.
The one part of that movie that still creeps me out to this day, and I don't know why, but when Ralphie is envisioning the robbers coming to the house and he shoots them with his Red Ryder, when they put the X's in their eyes, that still creeps me out, even as an almost 40-year-old. I don't know why. But yeah, that's like the only thing I don't like.
I forgot you can go in the backyard, and the backyard is the same.
Really?
It has the little trellis and the whole thing. Yeah.
That's
I
awesome.
think the fence is there too. Yeah.
That's pretty good. I feel like, yeah, no, go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say it's pretty much, it's worth the stop. I mean, like I said, we were driving home and Kelly wanted to go see it. And I was like, I to be honest with you, I was a little like on the fence. I was like,
yeah.
But now that I did it, I was like, okay, that's pretty cool.
And I feel like I want to say I read somewhere like that it bombed when it first came out, right?
Yeah, it's not it wasn't like super well received. But a lot of classics aren't. Like there's movies that you hear about that bomb that are like,
yeah,
you're like,
it's
like,
shocking.
Like one that blows my mind is Shawshank Redemption. That that did not do well at all in the theater.
I mean,
like, I can't flip through the channels, see it, and not stop
put it on
for at least 5 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I don't know about you. I know we mentioned this a little bit earlier, but like, okay, so I want to say that came out in the early 80s. Not Shawshank. 83. Okay. Which I find funny because like when I think of quote unquote new Christmas movies, I immediately go to this one.
What's this?
This is the North Pole.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. Where's the snow?
Why are you smiling like that?
I just like to smile. Smiling's my favorite.
Make work your favorite. That's your favorite, okay?
Okay.
Work is your new favorite.
We got Maddie to watch that. This is like the first year she's really into Christmas, and like that kid does not sit for anything besides a few of the cartoons she likes, but she will sit for Elf and watch it. And we tried to explain his name is Buddy. She goes, no, it's not. It's Elf. And she just refers to him as Elf. But yeah, that is one. Like I don't remember seeing that in high school because that would have come out right around the time we were in high school, I think.
I think so, yeah.
But I don't remember seeing it in theaters. I don't remember it being a big deal. And then it wasn't until like maybe like college or even after college that like I actually sat and watched it. I'm like, oh, this is a really cute Christmas movie. And I loved Will Ferrell from SNL and everything else.
Right.
But like I don't have any recollection of that movie when it first came out. None.
It's just one of those movies where it's just you almost feel like it's always been there.
Yeah. But then when you think it like actually, I'm curious. Let's see. What year? I want to say 2000. Yeah, November 7th, 2003. So yeah, that's another one that is silly. You know, it does a nice job including the like the claymation of the old stuff in the beginning.
Right.
The fact that Ralphie, or I can't think of his real name, is in it still makes me happy whenever I see him show up on camera. To tie back to A Christmas Story, but he's looking much older now. I watched a little bit of that Christmas Story sequel that came out like a year or two ago, and it kind of hit me that like time is progressing very fast.
It's not. I don't want to spoil anything, but it's not an easy watch in the beginning, at least.
No.
Like, it's a little bumpy there, but
yeah,
it wasn't.
It was better
movie,
than it
but it
should have
wasn't
been.
bad. Yeah, it was all right. No, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was saying I was surprised that it wasn't like immediately wanting to turn it off. I'm like,
right.
It's okay.
Yeah. No, what I was gonna say, just the yin to your yang for the Elf movie is one of my favorites, just because I'm a dirtbag like that. Is Bad Santa. Like, that's another one that I have to sit down and it's just,
and that's one that I have somehow never seen, and I've wanted to, because I know I like Billy Bob Thornton as an actor, and pretty much everything I've ever seen him in. I know I would enjoy it. I
believe you would, just after the children go to bed, for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna have some time off in between Christmas and New Year's, so that might be one I have to sit down and watch. And I will definitely understand a lot of references then, because I feel like there's stuff that I don't know or don't understand because I've never seen it. So
you know what I mean? Worst case scenario, do it for John Ritter. I think it was his last movie.
See, I didn't even know John Ritter was in it. So that there alone.
He's very. I kind of like his character in it. He's kind of this. He's the manager of the mall that Billy Bob Thornton works in, and he's very skittish.
Mm-hmm.
Like he doesn't want to. He's a people pleaser, and he doesn't want to anger Billy Bob Thornton, but he tries to reprimand him, but he doesn't know how to do it without getting angry, because he just he's just not that guy. He just doesn't get angry. He tries to long explain his way, and of course Billy Bob Thornton's in the movie short fuse, short temper, doesn't have it.
Yeah,
it's funny. It's a good movie.
All right, I'll have to give that a look. Well,
it's one of those guy goofy humor,
Yeah, I feel
sure
like
a lot of women roll their eyes at it and stuff. But.
Well, it's still, I feel like that's a modern classic, but I feel like the quintessential number one with a bullet has to be this one.
Before we left, he drank a half a quart of Pennzoil. Boy, when he lifted his leg the next morning.
Eddie, if he drinks the water out of there, the tree's going to dry up. Come on, out of there.
It's not. Out.
Go on, get yourself something to eat.
Get in the kitchen now. Get in the kitchen there. Get you something to eat. Go on. He's cute, ain't he? Only problem is he's got a little bit of Mississippi leghound in him. If the mood catches him,
and I love that they're
grab your leg,
literally right in each other's face when they're.
You don't want him around if you wear short pants, if you know what I mean. A word of warning though, if he does lay into you.
I didn't even realize.
It's best if you just let him finish.
Let him finish. So that would out of every movie I've ever seen, I've probably seen that movie the most in my entire life. There's years where I will see that probably a good 5 or 6 times through the season. And as a kid, we watched it a lot more. It was a lot of time during Christmas break and just a lot of weekends when we were younger. We'd watch it all the time. So
we would watch it every year in my high school auto shop class.
Awesome.
right before Christmas break. And I mean, you come from education, those couple days before you go, you don't do anything. You're not
Sean,
going to
are you kidding me? The weeks between Thanksgiving break and winter break, there's not a whole lot going on. So I do have one more clip just because that's my favorite scene pretty much in the whole movie. Here we go.
College?
Carnival.
You got to be proud.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, last season he was a
Pixie dust
spreader on a tilt-a-whirl. And he thinks that maybe next year he'll be guessing people's weight or barking for the yak woman.
I love when he knocks the thing down.
You ever see her?
Break.
No.
Yeah, she's got these big horns growing right out above her ear.
Sweet girl.
She's ugly as sin, but a sweet gal and a hell of a good
cook.
Can I refill your eggnog for you? Get you something to eat? Drive you out to the middle of nowhere? Leave you for dead?
No, I'm doing just fine, Clark.
That's my favorite line from the whole movie. We still reference that in my family. Can I just drive you out to the middle of nowhere?
That's a great line. Or I wouldn't be. How's it go? Where he's like, I wouldn't be as surprised if I woke up with my face over the carpet.
Eddie. The carpet, yeah. Or when they're going sledding and he's putting that lubricant on it and he's like, I don't know if I should do that. And he's like, do you really think it matters?
Well, if the plate in my head shifts, well,
My
my
part
hair
just
just ain't gonna look right.
What was he saying? It used to be metal and he's hitting his head. It's like, no,
Yeah.
it's plastic. And I think
Well,
the
every
line is
every
like,
time she'd use the microwave, I'd cross. What does he say? He's like, I crossed
I'd
my
piss
legs
my
and I pissed
pants and
myself or something.
yeah, I forget who I was for 20 minutes. Like, I don't know how you say that with a straight face, but like, what's funny with that movie is like when we were kids watching it, I remember sitting with my family and aunts and uncles or cousins and watching it and being like, oh, Justin, you are totally Russ and your dad is totally Clark. And now, sadly, it's like, okay, I'm Clark's age now, and my dad is one of the grandparents. And then we're arguing, like, well, are you the grandpa that's sleeping all the time, or the one that has like the hair coming out of his ears, you know, the ear hair? And talking about Jack Daniels.
You couldn't hear a dump truck through a nitroglycerin factory.
She wrapped up her damn cat. So
that's a great line. Just that line alone. Can't wait to see what I got.
Oh God.
When you compare that to your family, that makes me think of, it's sort of like what people say Catcher in the Rye is, where you're supposed to read it when you're like 18, and then you're supposed to read it when you're like 30. Because when you were talking about how you used to watch it as a kid, it made me think, as an adult, you side with Clark a little bit more. When you're a kid, you're like, wow, he's crazy. But when he has that whole rant about his boss and, you know, the low life 2-time, you know, the whole thing, everybody knows the rant. Or if you haven't seen it, YouTube it or whatever.
Yeah.
But now you're kind of like, I get it. Or even like
just being stressed with work and he's worried about his bonus, which I've never gotten a Christmas bonus, so I don't know what that's like. But I can imagine, like, if you're relying on that,
well, just stressing about money or whatever.
It's very real.
Another line that I quote on that a lot is, if I break something or something falls or whatever, I'll just go, fix the newel post.
Newel post, yeah. we needed a coffin. I mean a tree.
A tree.
There were no trees open, and there's no lots opened on Christmas Eve. Lewis burned down my tree.
And of course, just him being such a pervert when he's buying at the store.
Oh yeah,
it's a bit nipply. Nipple. Did I say nipple?
Yeah,
is it hot? It's hooter in here. Hotter in here.
Hotter.
Whoo. Can't see the line, can you, Russ?
Oh, do I? Yeah, that movie. Still, I mean, that was 89, I want to say, and like
that,
still just as relevant, you know, just as funny. Yeah.
Kiss his ass, like, kiss your ass, kiss my ass. Happy Hanukkah.
Or even like the thing that my family used to rag on me is the scene where Clark is going out at night to start the lights, and Russ is with him holding the reindeer. He's like, where do you want the reindeer? He's like, well, just put them somewhere down on the lawn. And he literally just drops them.
Yeah. Walks
They're like that. When I was a kid, that was me. It's like the least amount of effort possible. Thankfully not like that anymore, but especially if I was doing something I didn't want to do. But I don't know. I got nothing. What else? You got anything else you want to discuss? Share?
The only other thing that I got to throw out there, and I wrote the note on it when we got to go back to the toys, because on Facebook we did have a request to talk about Stretch Armstrong.
Oh, that's right. Did I have a Stretch Armstrong? That was a great commercial though too. And then there was Stretch Armstrong's like enemy that was like a red guy that you could like pump up. I don't remember what his name was, but he was stretchy too. And like when you pumped him up, like he got all like, I don't know, like
I vaguely remember that.
I don't know, his like the texture changed. I don't remember what he was called.
There was a wife or a girlfriend or something too.
I'm gonna look. Stretch Armstrong's enemy.
Nemesis.
Oh yeah, here it is, right here. What's it called? The Stretch Vac Man.
What?
Yeah, he's red, and then there's like a pump, and it changes like the texture of his stretchiness. And if I want to order it from Great Britain, I can get it for 30 pounds. Yeah, Stretch Armstrong Vac Man. I remember seeing commercials for that. You never saw that?
don't really remember it. I mean, I kind of do.
Vaguely. Okay.
Yeah. Because I don't think any of my friends had it. I think everybody had the Stretch Armstrong, and that was
because he had like the black shorts, the black cut off tank top, and then the bleach blonde hair. That was Stretch.
I thought there was a female one too, but it doesn't seem to be.
I'm surprised. I thought there was.
I thought there was too. Is this like the Mandela effect?
Did Stretch Armstrong have a girlfriend?
Because I typed in Stretch Armstrong female, and I have Elastigirl.
I can't find anything on here. I'm finding like an original Stretch Armstrong, which is just him in like blue underoos, and he doesn't have the black. I remember the black tank top and the black like muscle tee or whatever, but
right, yeah. Every time I think of Stretch Armstrong, this is getting a little off topic, but I always think of Airheads because they had the one and he strings it up and he shoots it with a Tabasco gun. I don't know why. I always go to that.
I do remember that. Well, the last thing I have that I clipped is just like Christmas or like TV shows in general when they do their Christmas episodes. One series that I love the series. I've watched it way too many times. But their Christmas episodes were always good, and that's The Office. One of the later seasons before Steve Carell left. There's the Christmas episode where Phyllis is Santa, and Steve Carell just can't handle that.
Yeah,
and then he gets Kevin to sit on his lap.
Michael, it's me, Kevin. Phyllis says I'm too big for her lap.
Oh, I am so sorry that Phyllis hates you and hates your body. But Santa remembers a reindeer that was just a tiny bit different as well.
When can I sit on your lap?
Right now! Come on over here, big boy!
And I love when they cut to the side, you can see all the people trying not to break in the scene.
Oh, yeah.
That's really comfortable.
What would you like for Christmas, little boy?
I don't know. I didn't know you were going to ask me that.
What did you think was going to happen?
I didn't know. Nobody's ever let me sit on their lap before.
All right, just say some choice, please.
Can you give me some choices? Because I really don't want to mess up on this list.
Damn it, Kevin, come on.
What about if I tell you the things I don't want?
Okay, get off. God. Oh, God.
I didn't even get to tell you what I wanted.
Okay, you know what you get? You get 1,000 helium balloons attached to you so Santa doesn't have to go through this again.
Awesome.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, I don't know. I want to throw that in there. I know we're at the end of the show, but I feel like there was good Simpsons Christmas episodes. I remember like Home Improvement.
Santa's Little Helper, dude.
Santa's Little Helper. Home Improvement always had really good Christmas episodes because Tim was competing with the neighbor in like a Christmas thing.
I forgot about that.
The It's Always Sunny Christmas episode is a classic, bizarre and weird, but also still very funny. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there as well.
Oh man, the Home Improvement and all that takes me back.
That's a deep cut, yeah.
Yeah, or the other Simpsons Christmas one where Bart gets caught shoplifting.
Oh, Bone Storm, right?
Wasn't he stealing Bone Storm? Yeah, he can't because his family wants to take the family picture at the department store. How dated is that?
Yeah.
And then he gets caught shoplifting there, and he can't go back.
Yeah.
I can't think of who does the voice of the security guard, but it's like somebody famous.
It is. I was just gonna say, let me see if I can find it. Marge Be Not Proud was the episode. And it features, let's see, how can it not have the cast? It doesn't say. Oh, wait a minute. Lawrence Tierney?
Tierney, yeah.
Yes.
That's right, because, well, if for those of us that are, he was in Seinfeld. He played Elaine's dad.
Yes, that's right.
And I think his biggest claim to fame is probably Reservoir Dogs.
Oh God, I forgot about that. Yeah.
He's
in all that.
Why can't I think of his name? But he was the boss in Reservoir Dogs. He was the guy who put them all together.
Yeah.
Joe. His name was just Joe. Yeah.
Had the real gruff. Well, just like in that Simpsons episode, the same voice. But, well, that was fun, Sean.
Yeah, welcome back, season 2.
Woo. So yeah, I'm thinking we'll have to try and either get back on our every other week or at least once a month.
Yeah.
Now that I don't have a job that was sucking my soul out of me. I'm very happy with where I'm at. So yes, I think I should have some more energy. The kids are hopefully cooperate. They'll sleep, and we can do this. We can get back on
Well, if we don't do this until after Christmas, they should have a bunch of whole new things to play with and just
yes.
Kids take care of themselves. I don't know what everybody's
Maddie is
fussing about.
self-sustainable. You put on a show or you give her something to play with. She's good. It's the 1-year-old. He's chaos incarnate at this point. But
just give him a marker and a clean wall. He'll be fine. Don't tell your wife I said that. I don't want to have to go scrub your walls.
Nope. Maddie, she drew all over the window the other day. I was like, how many times do I have to tell you? We only draw on paper, right? Yeah. Well, when did you draw on the window? Oh, I didn't do that. Mason did. I'm like, no, Mason doesn't usually play with crayons. You do. Your artwork's the one that's all over the fridge. I don't think it was Mason. But anyway, I digress.
And the battle of the siblings continues.
Oh, yes. But on that note, I know what time it is.
Whoops, you know what the music means. Our time is up.
All right, so this was a lot of fun. Like I said, we'll get back into a regular routine.
We're back.
I gotta go on some business trips in December. So if we're not back before Christmas, have a wonderful Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Lexus. Remember what was the thing from SNL? Happy Toyota-thon. Toyota Days.
Oh yeah,
Honda-thon. I don't know.
December to remember from Lexus. Anybody who wants to sponsor us, we'll take cars, money, whatever. And of course, Happy Festivus.
Oh,
George, fight your father.
How did I not pull a clip for that? Oh my God,
That's one of my favorites. It's just George, fight your father.
This podcast will not end until you pin. No, we're not going to go there. All right. Anyway. Thanks for listening. Have a wonderful holiday season. Merry Christmas. If we don't talk to you before then, stay tuned for the next episode. Sean, thanks again for bearing with me. And we'll see you next time, everybody. Bye.
Right.